either Pfizer replacement or interpretive. I'm thinking interpretive. But
Do you know where Louisville's at?
no, I was just talking about.
I didn't get any.
Okay, well, we can fix that. As long as they have something. I think that this is a bigger issue. No, but I was just talking about 5 seconds here, right? And I'm going to go with
There's a bunch of girls.
I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to be true. I was just like, everything is going to be so smooth and real.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And then the first looks like she'd be pro-communist. Yeah, she's a communist. On Facebook, isn't it like yeah, she calls herself either an anarcho-communist or socialist. That's like her actual political view. So she's getting really frustrated. We need to find that girl. Hi. Yeah. Oh, she's right there. She's right there. Excuse me, sorry.
Question. For the PowerPoint for the parties, it's going to be up there. We're going to be able to do it, right? Or are you pressing all the buttons?
I'm not pressing them. It's with Julian's laptop over there. But we test them all out, all of them work. So like if one you want to press it or just let Julian press it, I don't know how that's going to work out. Are you party chair?
I'm party, wait, so for the Democrats. Yeah.
For the Democrats? Nice.
had enough guts to get up in front of a group of people and give a speech. And I was in 9th grade and I didn't have any like real business attire, so I just wore my mom's like green dress, and it was so, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing. And I was in one of those debate rooms, we've all been there, where it's just overflowing and there's people sitting in the aisles and there's people sitting in the back and just chaos. And the topic was a bill to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And of course this was a really heated topic a few years ago. And you know, any person, probably that's not the best first speech to give, but they asked for subsequence and I shot my hand in the air. And they called on me and I got up here and I started looking at everybody and I had the horrible, you know, shaky voice and ums and likes and stumbling over my words like that. And then it came time for questions and people just completely attacked me and I, you know, left the podium in tears. But I mean, that was supposed to be funny. I mean, yeah. But, you know, the message behind that is, as humiliated and embarrassed as I was really glad that I finally just kind of took that first step and made a speech for the first time. And I think that's kind of what Congress is all about. Now, whether or not you know this, Winter Congress is the convention where we have an opportunity to make an impact greater than what happens in this convention. And instead of debating, just having normal debates, we're debating bills and other pieces of legislation, and the ones that pass in the full House and the full Senate on the second day actually have an opportunity to be on a lawmaker's desk and make a real impact in the world. And I think that that's kind of goes along with the theme that I've set for this convention is don't wait. I mean, we can either sit around and say, you know what, we're not 18 yet, well some of us may be, most of us aren't, and we're not technically part of the political spectrum, we're in high school, it's too early to start passing legislation and making a real impact. Or we can just do it now. There is absolutely no reason to wait. If you want to give a speech this weekend, ask a question, even just make a new friend, now is the time to do that, and there is no reason to wait whatsoever. So I really hope you guys take risks. So even if you are that shaky voiced freshman, this is the opportunity and this is the time to not hold anything back and really just make it happen for yourselves. All right, so it's a little different from other conventions. Okay, so everybody, can you all look at your name tags? Now, that means that you are a part of the Senate, and a red dot means that you're part of the House. Now, here's how Winter Congress works. What happens is, on the first day, we have committee hearings. And what happens is we have 8 different rooms going on at the same time. And if you have a red dot, you go to the House. So there's different committees going on. And say you want to go to the committee minimum wage and the flat tax. And you look at your agendas. So let's look at committee hearings 1. Now you see that there's all these different bills. And let's say you want to go to committee 2, which is a bill to improve voter turnout and a bill to ensure safe gun control. Now, if you have a red dot, you're going to go to the House, which is still on B, and if you have a blue dot, you're going to go to the Senate, which is Suite 5. Does that make sense to everyone? Is everyone clear? And then what will happen is on the second day, we're all going to be together, either in the full House or the full Senate, so you'll go to help you out. Another thing that's special about Winter Congress is we have party caucuses, both this morning right after opening with your friends and see which bills you want passed and which ones you don't in the name of advancing your own party's agenda. So what's going to happen after Tracy speaks is that since the different leadership from the different parties, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, and Socialist, are going to come up, give a little presentation trying to sway you guys to join their parties, and you can go from there. And then, as I mentioned, the bills that pass on the second day will go beyond these convention doors. And then also, this is kind of something new that we've done. Usually in the past what's happened is you made a bill and you don't really know what happened to it in the Senate committee hearing, what happened to it. We have these 4 huge boards by the registration desk, and the clerks will be writing what happens to them, whether they pass or fail. So if you want to stay in the loop and kind of see what's happening as this legislation moves through the weekend, please feel free to check those out. All right. And one thing that we really need to do is that we need to take some time to recognize all the amazing things that have been happening in Southern California JSA for the past year, or over the course of the past year, and recognize some incredible individuals we have. All the people to my right and left, as well as several in the audience, work so extremely hard to ensure that these conventions are as incredible as possible. And there's always a lot that goes on beyond these conventions. So one of the things that we've been working on to make JSA a little bit more technologically innovative, bring this organization to the 21st century. And we have a smartphone app designed by Vinny. Vinny, yes. And what this does is you can get updates on what's going on with SoCal JSA, and also at the convention, the agenda is on the app. So if you And also we've started a new system where you can vote for best speaker on the app instead of those ballots, which we'll talk more about later. Also, we have an incredible Southern California publication called the Pro Voice. Where's Dana Siegel? She's the editor-in-chief of this incredible newspaper, and if you want to write for this, one of the things that we're always constantly trying to do as JSA is make our voice a little bit more magnified and reach the widest demographic of high school students possible. And this year, I challenged my wonderful cabinet to each start a new expansion chapter in addition to all their other duties. And many of them have risen to the challenge under the leadership of Matthew and Sahan, Matthew Cohen. And we just want to recognize these hard cabinet members and their respective chapters for starting new JSA, which is absolutely incredible and definitely deserves a round of applause. So, yes. All right, well, I think that's everything for me. And now I'd like to call up our absolutely incredible convention coordinator, this beautiful agenda that you all have, QR codes and the completely new design. She's completely responsible for this countless hours of work. Please give a warm welcome to Jessica Shin.
Today? Well, like Juliana said, Winter Congress is really important to me because it was one of my very first conventions and what we have in store for you today.
Can you hit the next slide, please?
So, well, everyone who's been to Falls State has known that we've had this new innovation called the debate fact-checking, which give props to our director of debate, Timothy King. So basically, in a gist, in a summary, the debate fact-checking is that you text any question, let's say, what percentage of Americans, and then in this instant, the debate fact-checking team will send you an answer so you can make sure that your sources are credible and that no one's quote-unquote BSing. Okay, next slide. Okay. So we also have new JSA activities. We have the usual with our live streaming. Please everyone turn back and look at Paul and awkwardly wave to him. Paul is our great director of live stream, and if anyone here today has any qualms about being on film or doesn't want to, please talk to Paul before the committee hearing. Okay? And we also have a new thing, my personal favorite, JSA Karaoke. Yeah, right? So some of you guys may be great singers, some may not be. The talent show is for anyone who's to go, but also the JSA Karaoke is a great way for you guys to have fun with your friends at a time. Okay, and another thing is our talent show. We also have a $10 gift card for whoever wins, and that will be decided, of course, by our lovely judges, Juliana Joss, Grant Grader, and Tracy. And also we will be having a movie show showing of Skyfall. So be looking forward to that. Now, everyone can look at your agendas really quickly right now. If you flip throughout the pages and if you go to the legislative index, you can see the various QR codes for each bill. And what we did with the whole QR codes, with the help of course, our fabulous Vinny, is that we made sure that each bill sponsor would write a fact sheet, basically a one-page summary of everything, both on the pro and both on the con, so that you guys can have it easily accessible to you, because I don't know anything about the minimum wage. Let's be honest here. So all you need to do is just download the QR reader on your smartphones. Please take out your smartphones if you do have it. And then just go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And what you do is you just search up QR reader and download it, the first one that you see. It's free, so it's no charge. And when you have that app with you, all you do is you get your QR code scanner and you put it to the little QR code right there, and you're going to be automatically directed to a fact sheet. So it's pretty big, and we're trying to get everyone a little bit more knowledgeable. Okay? And then we also have different things, such as in the candidates meeting blurb, we have a link to the FEC bylaws for those that are interested in running. You know, the guidelines and the order and the proper procedure. And also the legislative index, of course, the fact sheet. We also have our new best speaker voting, like Juliana mentioned beforehand. If everyone could take out their phones right now, their smartphones, it's kind of a complicated process, but after you do it one time, it's completely easy and hands-free. So what you do is you go to the SoCal JSA app, and if you guys haven't downloaded it yet, shame on you, but download it now. It's completely free and it's completely accessible. Those who have Androids need to update their app because we have some changes with it. So also, this is how it's going to look like. If you have a QR code scanner right now, you can just scan that QR code to be automatically directed to the app. So the next step is click conference. Clear on that? Okay, and then the next step would be to click the events tab and see the agenda. Of course, you click on Winter Congress at the Torrance Marriott. Next slide. And I'm in the house. Then I would just log in with your Facebook. And I know that some people may not have Facebooks, so we will just resort to using the best balance. This initiative to try to be more eco-friendly, to have less paper, and on efficient. Okay? And then after you sign in with your Facebook, you're done for the whole day. You're going to give them that Facebook account for the rest of the weekend. And then you just vote. All you do is you write out their full first and last name. Okay. Now moving on to, so we have, of course, mandatory meetings throughout Winter Congress. And it's important and it's imperative that everyone shows up to what they're designated to do. Everyone must go to regional caucus. That's what's been the status quo for JSA conventions year round. And we will be waiting for all chapters to check in before we start. Of course, on Sunday Party Caucus, all chapter presidents must attend the Council of Chapter Presidents meeting. And if you do not attend that meeting, then your chapter president's ribbon will be taken away. Okay? Okay, so also, guys, so we will also be having a mandatory assembly meeting, and the assembly meetings are basically an inclusive thought talk. But rather than having the announcements stated at closing session, we actually have initiatives and actions that we do. We go to Sacramento, we go to our state legislatures, and we talk to them and congressmen and figure out what ways we can work with initiating our own thoughts and our own planks to the state level. And also, there's a new initiative called the Youth Advisory Boards. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of it today. If anyone's interested, please talk to Nicole Michelson, your speaker, and also Daniel Hamini. Okay? And also, in the words of your great speaker, the assembly meeting is not only wonderful, it is mandatory. So everyone must show up. Okay? The representatives from each chapter of the assembly. And then activity block. Okay, so the moderators, committee chairs, and committee clerks must attend the moderating workshop. If this applies to you and you're potentially running a campaign, but you're also one of the committee clerks or chairs, then you must still attend the moderating workshop. The candidates meeting is also mandatory for anyone who is thinking about running a campaign. But you do not have to physically be there if you have another commitment. All you need to do is send a representative. Okay? And then also, We also have Artivism. Because it was so successful in Fall States, we decided to have a block where we showcase Juliana Joss versus Greg Crater. And it's the theory of communism versus capitalism, so you guys are going to be in for a treat. Hey guys, we're almost through it, I promise. So we have one more thing, the Angeles Region Scholarship Fund. Exactly. They're having a new initiative where you can buy a raffle ticket for $1 to be eligible to win a full ride scholarship to Spring State. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, there's no cap to how many tickets you can buy. They're only $1. So if you put $5 into the fund, then you get 5 raffle tickets. And we will be rallying off who gets that one scholarship to Spring State. And they will be sold at the front desk by the registration desk, but not the registration desk. Okay. And also, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it walking around. Okay, so you guys. So since Valentine's Day was just around the corner, I know they're quite hilarious, but since Valentine's Day was just around the corner, we decided that we should spread the love at JSA conventions. So what we're doing is we're selling these Valentine grants for $1, and they're at the desk by the aisleway to the registration desk. They're $1, you get a cute little gram or a card and a lollipop, and they'll be distributing them at Regional Caucus, so you never know who you're going to get from. We just request that on the gram you write their name, their chapter, and what region they're from. And then, one last thing, everyone please go to your agendas and get out a pen. We have a quick agenda edit. Share the pens, show pens. So if everyone flips to your agenda at a glance, on Sunday, February 17th, we're going to be adjusting the ending times. They're all in red for you to see clearly, but I'll just read it out loud for those who can't really see the projector. Full session, it will be from 9:35 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. Lunch will be from 11:25 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. Full session 2 will be from 12:25 p.m. to 1:30. And then closing will be from 1:35 to 2:30. So we have to not evacuate, but we have to leave this room by 2:30. So please make sure you coordinate your rides on that and hope it's not a big hassle for everyone. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully you guys can jot that down. Another thing is cell phone policy. It's on the next slide, but I'm just going to leave it here for you guys to edit. We have the cell phone policy again. Let's be respectful. Let's make sure that every speaker is getting our undivided attention. We will also be going around with our boxes. And if your cell phone gets confiscated in those boxes, you have to wait to go to the bench desk with your teacher advisor. And that's kind of embarrassing, so I'm not sure. But you can use your cell phone for JSA-related items such as the agenda, the new best speaker voting, and checking. So feel free to use your cell phones for that. But please, let's be respectful about it. Is everyone done with the edits? Well, guys, we're going to move on. So if you haven't gotten the edits, just talk to someone next to you. Make a new one. Okay. Now we have Tracy Thomas, our program director.
From the entire Junior Statesman Foundation, we welcome you to the largest and most technological, innovative Winter Congress in the entire JSA nation. And this convention, more so than any other, really highlights the student-run nature of JSA, with the production tentacles reaching into each chapter. And so as you're writing bills and you can see people from your own chapter that may not be sitting on the dais or may not be in cabinet, they are having the debate bills sponsored by them. And so whether or not your debate that you may have written and turned in made it onto the docket, it's really important that everyone here understands what an incredible leap of vulnerability that is to put yourself out there and be judged by everyone. So everyone who submitted a bill, whether or not you made it on, why don't you stand up and let's give everyone a round of applause. By going through the machine of JSA Summer School, where you pop out the other end as a much more bold, assertive, and competent scholar, setting the bar a lot higher on your high school campuses. This year, we're offering three-week honors and AP courses at Georgetown, Stanford, and Princeton. And there are 3-week courses where they count for an entire semester of credit on your high school campus. And we also have a 4-week course at the University of Virginia. It's an APUSH course that we've moved over there, and that is an entire year of APUSH that you get in 4 weeks. So it's very, very important that you guys understand the value that you guys can put this on your, quiet down please, that you guys can put this on your college applications. And if you have a course that you wanted to take maybe your junior or senior year and you didn't have this space in your schedule, you can take this course, any of these courses during the summer, and it counts for high school credit. You can choose an AP course over an honors course, and this will put you ahead of your class, because a lot of the courses we have, like AP macroeconomics, you may not have on your high school campus. So this gives you a lot more opportunity to shoot to the top. And your governor here went to Stanford the summer between her freshman and sophomore year, and she loved it so much, she went to Georgetown the next year. And now she's seated up here beside many of the other summer school alums. And it's no coincidence that there's a correlation between people being strong leaders and having gone through the summer school machine. So, given that, I have some very exciting news to announce today. An alumnus of JSA from several years ago has made an incredibly generous donation to the organization. Her name is Lisa Horvath Puckett, and she stipulated that her gift must go to one very specific purpose. She wants to make sure that the experience she had at JSA is experienced by as many others as possible. And so together with some other anonymous donors, nearly $50,000 will be given away as partial scholarships, specifically and only for students of Southern California, to nurture your chapter and to start your chapter. This is an incredible gift for Southern California. And since everyone in this room has clearly drank the JSA Kool-Aid, or you wouldn't be sitting here in a business suit while there's a gorgeous sunny day outside, we know that you here are going to be strong statesmen on your high school campuses. Other students, however, without JSA on their campuses, don't have the opportunity to find their voice, learn persuasive argumentation, and practice leadership responsibilities, and learn how to think critically about today's issues. Ask the scholarship in her name to go to students who demonstrate leadership and a commitment to the mission, giving all high school students the tools to live being civically engaged. So we devised a way to help her realize her hopes for her donation. Here's how the application will go. Now pay attention, because it's a little confusing, but very straightforward and powerful. If you are currently a junior or below, meaning that you're still going to be in high school next year, and you have attended a JSA convention, all of you clearly have, and you are accepted to a JSA summer school, then you're eligible to begin the process. But in order to qualify, you must reach out to another junior or younger from a school that does not have JSA. And you have to inspire them to go to summer school and explain to them the value and what you get in JSA and why it's going to be such an incredible experience. And once he or she has been accepted to one of our programs, it doesn't have to be the same one you are, then you both together as a pair are eligible to apply for the Lisa Horvath Puckett Scholarship by emailing me your application. 5 pairs will be selected, and each winner, 5 JSAers and 5 non-JSAers, will each receive a 75% scholarship. So rather than paying $47.50, each student only pays $1,200 to attend the program. And if any of you are here on the urban rate, the same fashion of your convention fees, where you pay 50%, you'll pay the 50% of the $1,200. We're going to award one pair to an urban pair, where you both pay $750. So there's going to be 12 winners of this Lisa Horvath Puckett Scholarship. But the caveat is that you both must attend Spring State, and your partner must start the process of basis, getting a teacher advisor started, creating a day, maybe starting the process of finding some students. If that doesn't happen, then the scholarship will be awarded to another pair. We will be announcing the winners at Spring State based on the presence of all of the pairs who were present. And this is a remarkable opportunity for you to leadership into national. And we're so excited about this revolutionary new idea and so grateful for her generosity. So please sign up at the registration desk for more information, and we will have the scholarships for you at the summer school table. Please take it. It says Lisa Horvath Puckett Scholarship on the top. So when you turn that in with your application, we'll be contacting you and we'll be telling you, we'll be working with you throughout the process. But first, you must get accepted to summer school. No scholarships are processed before being accepted. And in order to apply, you need to have your high school transcripts, a teacher recommendation, and to answer 3 short answer questions. However, we're conducting informal interviews this weekend by JSA staff in order to expedite the process. So if you brought your transcripts with you, with an interview, you can find out if you've been accepted by the end of the weekend, and we'll announce that at closing session. But if you didn't bring your transcripts and you're still interested in applying to summer school, or you are very interested in the scholarship, please sign up for an interview, a discussion with your teacher advisor here, and we can get the ball rolling and we can move you through the application process. And once you're accepted, then you'll be able to begin the summer school process. We have a limited number of interview spots, so please stop by the registration desk and sign up as soon as possible. And we are having a summer school information session during committee hearing block 2. So that will be held. It's in your agenda. That will be held, I believe, in Salon G. But look at your agenda. We'll be there talking about the application process and how to fundraise and how to move through the application process. Now, last but not least, time for some serious stuff. We all know that nobody wants to get sent home, so let's go over some ground rules to prevent that. You play ball, you get to enjoy the convention. If you decide to break any of these rules, we will call your parents and you will be sent home immediately, even if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning. No one's parents want to get called, believe me. They are not happy parents when they have to get out of bed. So I'm going to review the rules with you so that way there's no room for ambiguity and we can go on to have an awesome convention. First of all, name tag. Everyone needs to wear your name tag at all times except for sleeping and showering. You must have your name tag. We love our name tags at JSA. This is what distinguishes you from everyone else in the hotel. If we catch you without your name tag, you'll be sent upstairs to go get it. And if you say you don't have it, we're going to need your teacher advisor to come vouch for you to get a new one, or you'll be hanging out with us at the registration desk until that happens. There's no boys and girls rooms, and there's no girls and boys rooms. If we catch that under any circumstances, if you say you left your sweatshirt and your brother has it, it doesn't matter. If we catch a boy in a girl's room or a girl in a boy's room, you will be sent home, no questions asked. Does everyone understand that? This happens every convention, and if we catch you, you will go home, okay? If it's illegal outside of JSA, it's illegal inside of J. No drugs, no alcohol, no smoking. That is completely off limits. If we catch you, you're going home immediately. You're not allowed to have driven yourself. TAs, if you know of any of your students who drove themselves, please take their car keys immediately. This is a liability issue for JSA, and nobody wants the 79-year history of the Junior Statesman Foundation to go down because of a lawsuit, because a student broke the rules and drove themselves and got into a car accident. This is on all of your shoulders to make sure that you and your peers continue the legacy of JSA by making sure that we all follow these rules and make sure that there's no lawsuits and no serious consequences to any of these rules. If you're being too loud and you're asked by a hotel staff, by JSA staff, or by a teacher advisor, whether or not it's your teacher advisor or someone else's, you must be respectful to them. This is an organization about statesmen. We teach people how to be. We demonstrate how to be statesmen. We show respect and we act respectfully. We don't mouth off and we don't tell someone that their word doesn't matter because they're not your teacher. We're all going to be listening to every other teacher, and we're all going to be respectful. This is very, very important. You're not allowed to leave the property after 7:30 p.m. So after you get back from your dinner time, your regional caucus, you're not allowed to leave the property under any circumstances. If we catch you leaving any of the doors, we've hired additional. If your teacher advisor doesn't call, they're with you at home because that's the rule. You're going to be a serious life. 2 more rules. 10 p.m. and then if you from your yes. We're not last because they the relationship needs don't assume different. You do complete. You're wearing heels into a point you and they stare into the butt. So no pun intended. You need to understand that is completely unacceptable. Okay? So if you are asked to go upstairs and change, you must respond to that and go change. And if you don't have any other clothes, you could call your parents and have them bring you additional clothes, or we can send you home because you don't have professional attire that is not appropriate for schools. So that being said, I hope everyone can absorb all of this and move forward in a professional and statesmanship forward manner. Okay? So thank you very much.
All right, we just have one more quick thing to do before we set you free for the rest of the convention, and that's your party chairs and whips are going to come up and make short 2-minute statements trying to rally your support. So can I call up the Republican Party?
The Republican Party stands for multiple ideals, but mostly what we stand for is the people, the individual, that is you. We stand for your freedoms, your liberties. And so what whether or not America to be a leader global and lakes that what we offer sees every and in the future.
All right.
Our primary to make welcome the strong Chicago. Economic policy. Anyone because
freedom, and that will make it. On a public road. Each and every America. Is that other smaller party? Maintain. Drive. Double A economy.
Fundamental
So, party is just burger wearing, tree hugging hippie lunatics who don't shower for weeks to save the planet. You're wrong. I spent a good 20 seconds showering this morning.
Now, I understand why people would hesitate to join the Green Party because we are the
Sexiest
party out there. And that can be a little intimidating. I mean, not only do we care about our life, we care about the planets too. We're not saying to stop drilling oil, stop buying meat, or stop driving your car. We're only saying, wait, what are we doing? Oh, yeah, all we want to say is an economically viable, yet environmentally conscious legislation in our everyday life.
So what does that mean? It means let's develop our own energy sector of solar, hydroelectricity, clean nuclear, and responsible American oil. More American jobs, a less powerful Middle East, and clearer skies. It means let's bring our infrastructure into the 21st century and expand on public transportation. We also think corporate and special interest money maybe shouldn't be influencing legislation that affects, everyone. Maybe the government shouldn't be able to hide stuff from people, considering that it's supposedly a government of, by, and for the people. Basically, we believe in democracy.
And we're just like every other individual out here. We love debating. We love ASAP Rocky. We're just smart enough to provide real solutions to real problems. We believe in everything from gender equality to equal opportunity, but we're also smart enough to realize that none of this matters if we don't have a planet to live on. Now, in all seriousness, we're all here with the goal of learning something new and opening our eyes a little wider.
So, if you agree that global warming isn't just God hugging you a little bit closer, but maybe an actual problem, or just interested in learning a little bit more about the party, come to our caucus. We look forward to seeing you there, guys. Thank you.
Also, one more thing, our flagship bill is marijuana, so start your journey with the Green Party with some green. We are going to send you guys off into the activity block, then party caucus, then your first committee hearings. You guys want to hear this. Okay, so what you're going to do is all the salons are on this first level, kind of in a circle, and then any suites are
divided on a partisan line. You can go on any news station and hear a Democrat talking about how their party is the only way and the only right way to run our country, and then a Republican doing the same. This kind of division is not what we need in our country. We need to unite as American people and come together to solve our problems. And all this gun control debate has done is divided us and prevented us from seeking any sense of unity. Our economy at the moment is heavily suffering. Our unemployment rate is about 7.9%, if I'm correct. We haven't had any real fast-paced expansion in a long time. We can't be focusing on these social issues. What? Okay, so we can't be focusing on these social issues when we have such bigger problems daunting us. We need to be fixing our economy. We need to be growing jobs. For a person who grows up in a household with a steady income and a steady lifestyle will be less likely to commit any sort of violent act regarding using guns than someone who doesn't. All these issues relate to the economy in some way or another. And that's why I think that we need to be focusing on our economy and not on guns at the moment. Plus, this gun control debate has basically created this sense of fear in this nation. You can go on news stations and media outlets and just hear people talking about guns, 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 guns. Well, if you're a person who's emotionally unstable or mentally unstable or just crazy, and you hear this constant talking of guns, 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 what do you think that's going to lead you to do? Yes. We need to decrease the sense of fear, because if you think about it, after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, there was a shooting in Fashion Island. And then there was the whole Chris Dorner thing. And there's been so many more shootings increasingly
occurring because our media is so concerned with guns, and our politicians are so concerned with guns. I think they should be focused with the economy and creating jobs. For without jobs, we'd have higher rates of crime. The number one reason a person would commit a crime is because of their mental or emotional instability. And that's why I think that instead of having this unproductive gun control debate, we should invest our money in mental health research to help people go from that state of being so confided so eclipsed in a cloud of, just depression to have a happy life. And plus, investing in mental research would also increase our economy and would increase the technology in our country. And I think that's much more of a better way to fight guns than by just having this unnecessary and unproductive gun control debate that's been going on forever and seems to never end. It's been dividing us, and right now is not the right time for gun control. Maybe once we're economically stable, maybe then we can have this debate. But until then, I think all our resources and all our energy needs to be focused on the economy. And that's why I highly encourage you to affirm this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, questions. There's 2 minutes for questions. A question? Yes, back there. You're saying that creating gun control is distracting us from our nation's work problems, but wouldn't you say that thousands of people, including children, dying is a pretty big problem?
I think that's a big problem, and I think that's something that we would need to address. But I think it's a bigger problem, honestly, at the moment, realistically, that millions are unemployed. Because millions of children are growing up in unemployed households. And that leads to, that leads to more violence when they grow up. And guns are a huge issue, and violence is a huge issue, but I think that the economy and other issues are much more pertinent than gun focus on both, but right now it seems like all we've been focusing on is God. And that's why I'm saying that the current resolution is that the debate regarding gun control is unnecessary and unproductive, and the current state of that debate is unnecessary and unproductive.
Okay, yes. Maybe the time isn't now, but don't you think the time was before there were shootings, before Newtown? Now it's too late. We should have taken action before. Don't you think the time would have been sooner?
I do think we should have taken action before, maybe in like the early 2000s when our economy was booming and we were able to focus on these social issues. I think that this should have been addressed a while ago, but I think right now it's not the right time, and it's an unproductive discussion at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Kevin Gu. I go to University High School. I'm just going to start this off by talking a little bit about the burdens that the resolution places on these speakers. So, in order for the proposition to be winning this debate, they have to prove to us that the gun control debate was one, unnecessary, and two, unproductive. And for me to uphold my side of the argument, I must show you that one, the gun debate was necessary, and that two, the gun debate has been productive. And so this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. First, I'm going to be talking about why it's necessary, and then I'm going to be moving on to be talking about why it has been productive. So why it's necessary? First of all, the government's job is to protect the people. And it's impossible to learn what the people want without discussion. Without the discussion about gun control, the government would be unable to formulate a plan to combat this epidemic of shootings that has happened in the past. And because of that, we do need discussion to ascertain what the people really want. Do you guys want more gun control? Do you want less gun control? Do you want gun control for semi-automatic assault weapons, but not for handguns? So it's impossible to understand what the American people want to talk about unless we actually
revolution, we're going to see that people are going to think that gun control is unnecessary, and that the government is going to be unable to properly combat these problems because there hasn't been a discussion about it. And secondly, democracy is discussion. Democracy between citizens, discussion between citizens. We want these kinds of conversations going on because it promotes the kind of civic advocacy that we have called for since the beginning of our country. And what this means is that by having this discussion about gun control, we're not only aiming to solve a problem, we're also upholding a fundamental basis for American liberty, that you have a say in what your government does, that you have a say in what legislation your government or your congressman or your senator passes, and you're not going to be able to have the same kinds of influence unless we talk about the problem. Moving on to productivity, why has the gun control debate been productive? Now, talking about the proposition is said that talking about guns leads to more people using them. But this is false. What talking about guns really does is promotes awareness about these kinds of issues. It shows that these kinds of issues are not only central to the life we lead, they're also very relevant to all people. The people in Newtown might not have known about gun control. They may not have thought that it was an important issue. But once it impacted their life, they understood that it needed to be solved. And this will happen for each and every one of us. You may not think it's important now, but when it's impacted you personally, when it's impacted your family members, your friends, then you will know that we do need to solve this problem. And therefore, this discussion about gun control raises awareness about the problem that we have today. And secondly, it's been productive because now Washington is aware of it. Obama has set Joe Biden to head an executive committee on gun control. They've come up with a new plan for a new assault rifle ban. And what this means is that we now have legislation on the table that will enable us to protect the lives of people like the children that died in the Sandy Hook shooting, or the theater goers that died in the Aurora shooting. This means that we now have the opportunity to solve these problems because the gun control debate has been effective. We've raised awareness about this issue. We've put these kinds of issues on our congressman's desk, on our senator's desk. We've shown them that we care about these issues and that we want these issues to be solved. And Washington has heard what we wanted. They've created a new executive committee to deal with this, and as a result, there is now the possibility of solving this problem. And finally, by increasing awareness about these problems, we've also found a lot of problems in our legislation as it is. We've found loopholes in state registers. show whether or not people are allowed to buy these kinds of weapons. A lot of mentally ill people, the proposition talks about mental illness, but a lot of these mentally ill people should not be allowed to purchase weapons, and the only reason they are allowed to is because of loopholes that exist in current state legislation. And by raising awareness about the issue, we've brought these kinds of problems to light. We've also brought failures to properly enforce legislation like those that happen in gun controls, where you do need to show that you are able to operate and own a gun. You don't actually have to show these licenses at a lot of gun fairs. And as a result, by bringing these issues to the light, we actually have accomplished something very, very productive here. So going over my points, I've shown you that, one, the gun control debate is necessary because it's upholding our democracy, and that, two, the gun control debate has been productive because we have accomplished real significant things, like legislation that is now on Congress's agenda, on Congress's docket, and the opportunity to solve these problems. As a result, we most firmly negate this resolution. I will yield the remainder of my time to questions.
How much time is left? 30 seconds. Yes.
So do you think that the priority of it is considering that almost 11,000 people were killed by drunk driving versus for people killed by assault weapons, it's less than 100?
We're talking about gun control here. It's not necessarily about our assault rifles. And it's just talking about the debate over gun control. The debate over gun control could be handguns, it could be assault rifles, but it could be other things too. Gun control is very encompassing, and as a result, gang violence, these kinds of gun-related violences are more than just the statistics you pointed out.
Yes, quickly. The chair will absorb the remaining time. I'm sorry, I can't submit to that. We only have time for 2 subsequent speakers because we have to change rooms. So we don't have much time. Okay, can I have a subsequent speaker from the proposal?
Hello, my name is Chris Fleming from Health Services Academy High School, and I'm arguing on the pro side. Now, we can sit here and have this debate over, is gun control effective? You know, we're talking about assault rifles, where it's an automatic weapon of sorts. And we're talking about assault rifles that use bullets, gunpowder, ballistic gel, everything. However, a handgun is just as dangerous as an assault rifle. Uses a bullet, uses the firing mechanism, uses the pin. What? Is that all we're going to go on now?
example, the Sandy Hook shooting. One report told of the woman, the mother, the one that was shot, told her son that her kids at the kindergarten were more important than him. Now, how would you feel if your mother, your own mother, told you that people you don't even know are more important than you, her flesh and blood? She labored 24 hours for you. She stuck with you in bed. Just like when you were sick, like when you were feeling well, she stuck by you side by side. How would you feel? Christopher Dorner, even, he was charged, like 5 years ago, he was fired because he wanted to get the knowledge of police beatings over, like they were beating citizens, and he saw it, and he wanted to get the word out, but nobody listened to him, and so he found his only voice in the roar of a gun. Now, you may think that it's just, oh, these people are crazy. No, they want to be heard. That's all they want. Wouldn't you be frustrated if nobody listened to you? Wouldn't you want to scream and cry and kick until they actually decide to give you what you wanted or ask you what you wanted? It's just the same thing, only with handguns and assault rifles. Thank you. I will yield my time to questions.
Yes.
That sole solution to gun violence is through mental health counseling?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes, back there.
How do you suggest we combat mental states as you're addressing, saying how they feel loved? How do you say we should go about nurse track?
Mental counseling. Let these people talk out their problems instead of letting them shoot people over their problems. And I give my time to Chair.
Okay. Okay. We have subsequent speakers for the on side of the notes. I'm sorry, you raised your hand first. Do you have your badge?
Alright, so I'm going to start because I need to move on, and they're saying I should go quickly. But really? Do you really think that this debate is unnecessary? Do you really think that saving future lives in shootings is unnecessary? Do you really think that it's unnecessary to prevent these school shootings? I'm sorry, but I actually value human lives, want to see any more of these school shootings. I think this debate is both necessary to have to prevent any more shootings. Yeah, I know gun laws are not perfect. I don't think they ever will be. But we need to help reform these laws, and that is what this debate is about. Democracy is not perfect. Look, democracy moves slow because we debate issues. We compromise. We try to strive for the perfect solution, even if we cannot truly get to that perfect solution. We really want to come close. And I'm sorry, but I love democracy. I love debating. And this debate is about the future of this country. It's about protecting our children, protecting our citizens from shootings. I think that this debate is truly necessary. Any questions?
The only path to gun control is to simply rewrite these laws.
No, we need to debate these laws and see if we can come to a better solution, to better gun laws. Look, these laws are pretty old. I think we have advanced technologically a lot, and we need to make these laws more recent. And I'm not saying that mental education is bad. I'm just saying that we should not be forgetting about this debate. This debate is a whole variety of issues. Gun laws address, yeah, they address guns, but also we need to think of schools. But right now, I don't think we should not have this debate.
Yes.
We have a great system on drugs, and people are still able to get drugs. Why would we work on that? It's not working.
Alright, so you're saying that we have a bad drug system. I'm not saying you're wrong. Well, bad drug legislation. Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. Well, and I'm not saying that these gun laws right now are perfect. But we need to have this debate to move forward. We can't just create new laws without debating them. That's what democracy is.
Okay, 30 seconds. The opposition has stated that the problem is mental health, not the actual gun itself. So why would enforcement laws upon the gun be more useful than the actual?
There's no one solution to this. I think mental health, yeah, it's important, but we can't just not talk about gun laws. I mean, really, are you just gonna forget that whole part of the issue and focus on one thing? No, you need to address this whole problem as a whole to prevent school shootings in general. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, there isn't enough time for subsequent speeches. We are very behind. We're going to get started on our closing speeches. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, there's been a fundamental misconception in this debate, and it's that the debate over gun control doesn't have to include mental health. What the proposition is trying to bring up is that while gun control is not a solution, mental health is, but the debate over gun control has also brought to life the issues about mental health and mental awareness. It's the Sandy Hook shootings that have really shown us what mentally ill people can do when they have a gun. And it's only because of the resulting gun control debate that we now even have a debate about mental health and the mentally ill people owning a gun. So as a result, debating or negating this resolution would also include the points that the proposition has made about mental health. Because only by having this gun control debate can we actually have a productive debate about mental health, about gun control with mentally ill people, about gun ownership with mentally ill people. It's only with this kind of productive, necessary debate that we can have the solutions that we truly require for problems that range from gun control to mental illness. So, as a result, this legislation, this discussion has been necessary. This discussion has shown us what the problems truly are, and it's shown us how we can solve those problems. What we can do as Americans to tell our Congress people, to tell our senators what to do to solve these problems. It's only by having this discussion that we can really truly tell the government what we want. It's only by having this discussion that we can express our opinions about this topic. So, as a result, negating this resolution means upholding your beliefs in freedom, your beliefs in democracy. Negating this resolution would entail understanding that you have the duty and the right as a citizen to talk to your senator, to talk to your congressperson, to talk to or present a petition to the White House about gun control and about the relevant aspects of gun control. As a result, the opposition most firmly negates this resolution, and we most strongly urge a ballot against this resolution. Thank you.
I am tired. I am tired of corrupt, election-seeking politicians trying to divert our attention from the failing tired of living in a society where we accept and are okay with millions living in complete destitution. If we focus our energies on improving the situation of those impoverished people, the violence with guns would significantly decrease. For someone who lives in an unstable household where they're constantly worried about the next bill or constantly worried about not having enough money, will most likely grow up to have some sort of emotional or mental, well, not most likely, but more likely than those who would not have emotional or mental instability that's leading them to purchase guns through legal or illegal means and commit these mass murders. Let's solve this issue from the very base of it. Let's improve the lives of people from their young ages by improving the economy and focusing our attention on the economy rather than just focusing on this gun control debate, which would just get rid of guns, legal guns, but not illegal guns. As my good friend Kevin Gu stated earlier today, God bless America. Thank you.
Before I read the resolution again, before I take the count, I'm going to announce the speakers one more time. Do you want to say your name and where you come from so they can do the best speaker ballots?
I'm Daniel Hamidi, and I'm from Blanche High School.
I'm Kevin Gu. I'm from University High School.
Okay, and where's the other speaker? Okay, also, we ran out of ballots. That's another thing. We realized so many people would be here. Okay, the resolution
Vote on your phone.
countrywide debate regarding gun control is unnecessary and unproductive. All in favor of this resolution, please rise. Okay. Great. All opposed, rise. All right. Okay. Okay, thank you. Abstentions. Abstentions. Anyone abstaining?
And like I mentioned in the introduction to socialism, the Socialist Party, our top government, the world's top governments, the world's most successful economies are socialist. The model ones would be like Finland and Sweden and the Netherlands, Germany. Yeah. So that's a good background on socialism.
So, do you want to talk about
Just go over it. Okay, guys. So obviously, winning Congress involves a lot of bills, and we're just going to kind of go over each individual bill and sort of how it pertains to us, where we stand on it. So what page? We just these aren't page numbered. Sorry.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, but the full legislative index is towards the back, if you'd like to look at that. Okay, so in committee hearing 1, mostly for the most part, socialists are focused on economic issues, but we also promote egalitarianism, equality, so rights for everyone,
yes.
Everyone be free and happy. So
Gender equality, whatnot.
Dancing, kumbaya. So yeah. The first bill is a bill to eliminate teacher tenure in California, which I don't think is really pertinent to the Socialist Party. The second one is a bill to increase the efficiency and affordability of California public colleges.
We like that. We like that. Don't we? Don't we like it? Tell us what
We do. It helps resources be available to the public and the working class, which is exactly what we stand for.
Yeah.
So you all go there and you go, yes, we like affordable college and we want to go to college. Go.
And then so weekend voting rights. I think this also would really help the worker and class be able to get out and vote, whereas a lot of the election days are on Tuesdays, and a lot of people have a hard time getting out to vote, and I think this is disenfranchising people who have a hard time getting out and voting. It's very, if more people could vote if it was on the weekend, so that's something you could consider, as part of the Socialist Party, I guess, so.
Gun control is
Let's kind of not go there. We don't go there.
Yeah, that's not an issue of the Socialist Party.
You just decide what you want on gun control.
We're not touching that. No, thank you. Okay. To shrink and balance the federal budget. No. Sorry, no.
We need more taxes.
I'm not going there. Okay.
Places where we won't go.
A bill to revise the Federal Reserve System.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Do you guys understand what would happen if we ended the Fed?
Good stuff. It's pretty elitist right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty elitist.
We're not trying to get rid of elitist institutions, we're trying to de-elitize them.
Exactly, so this is pretty elitist.
Okay, places we don't touch. A bill to legalize polygamy in the United States.
We like that, equality.
Equality, yes.
Mr. President,
repeal the National Defense Authorization Act.
Yeah, we like equality.
We like doing that because we like civil liberties and trying people without. Actually, socialists have a history of being detained and being oppressed by the government. So for their beliefs and stuff. So NDAA was pretty bad. So we would be against it. Yeah.
Okay, an amendment to legally recognize same-sex marriage. Again, equality, pole dancing, kumbaya, all that stuff. A bill to reduce energy.
Yes. That's okay. Can anyone explain that title to me? Because it's reduce energy. The amount of energy in the world is constant. How do you reduce it?
Basically,
consumption then?
it's a Green Party bill.
Right.
So if you guys like being green and dreadlocks and hippies, go for it. A bill to legalize voluntary euthanasia. Again, that's probably something that we probably don't want to touch. It's a right.
I think it's a civil liberties. In the end, it's a civil liberties.
I don't like banging the gavel because we're all here to be equal. But
we can put it on the other half of the flag. Yeah.
Okay. So it is a civil liberty, but again, it's a touchy topic. But if you guys aren't sure, we would say yes, go for it. And a bill to transfer the cost of treating preventable chronic diseases from the U.S. government to individuals. No. Never.
We don't like that. Cool.
We hate that. We loathe it. We want to no. If you guys are in that committee, you vote no. Please, thank you. Okay. A bill to limit access to private Facebook information, not really social issues.
It's not really, but against civil liberties, like we believe in the right to privacy, so that people should be able to like not have their Facebook searched by employers or by, because we also believe in like the kind of like safety of like privacy for the workers, and that employers shouldn't like be able to like look into that because that's just not, it's not ethical.
Okay. So the next one is a bill to allow blood donations by homosexuals.
Yeah, well,
egalitarian, equality. We love everyone. Okay. The more blood there is, second time I banged the gavel, not fun. No equality there. Okay, a bill to rehabilitate those convicted of nonviolent felonies and misdemeanors.
Yeah.
I'd say yes, because most likely those of non-violent felonies and misdemeanors are like, people who got caught like, stealing lipstick.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like when people are forced to like,
doing it because they're oppressed by the capitalist
yeah,
system.
a lot of those people are poor and they're stealing.
We don't even need to worry about this if we're social.
Yeah, so.
Later in jails, we will not have to worry about misdemeanors.
Rehabilitation rather than punishment is more a very socialist space.
This guy.
So yeah.
Freedom, love, holding hands, it's all our stuff. Okay.
We don't want love.
A bill to lower the drinking age to 18.
Let's get rid of the drinking age.
You guys decide on that one.
Yeah, it's not a socialist issue. Sorry.
Equality.
A bill to basically put a take away all taxes except sales tax. No.
Wait, seriously?
Flat taxes, no taxes, reduced taxes. No, sorry, government can't afford it. It's not a viable fiscal option.
It should only be determined by your ability. The tax.
Maybe 300 years in the future, we're not trillions of dollars in
A
debt.
bill to abolish minimum wage? No.
No. A bill to cut the time for newly licensed licensees to be able to drive others and increase driver training. Again, not really a socialist issue in my opinion. A bill to abolish the age limit for purchasing Plan B contraceptives. Not such a bad.
Well, actually,
I'm not touching it. You guys can touch it. A bill to legalize marijuana. Yes, freedom. We like the dreadlock guys. A resolution to add picketing at funerals to a legal definition of harassment.
No, we want equality.
You should be able to protest whenever we want to.
Yeah.
You say we like dreadlocks, but I didn't fall.
I didn't lose balls.
This guy has like this guy. This place to be bald, okay? I don't think I really want to enter social issues, but a bill to facilitate citizenship and ease the process of immigration.
Close up our borders. Everything's equal within everybody else.
That is your personal discretion. While the Socialist Party does condone easing, access to everything, this bill may be a little too extreme for your taste. I will completely understand. And the Safe School Act, a bill to improve school safety by use of firearms. Again, we're not touching guns.
Even if we weren't socialists, we like those.
I guess different socials have different views on guns. I mean, you have from the Black Panthers to the people who are like, no guns ever. But yeah, so it all depends.
Yes. Huh? Gavin? Oh, sickle now.
We don't have the sickle today. It was just he didn't give it to us.
Let's go harass the libertarians.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. The Socialist Party should be the troll the Libertarians Party.
We're doing peace and love. We need to go.
So, that is the legislative index. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask now. Anything?
Open discussion.
Yes?
Is your name Chairman beyond here?
Chairman. You can just call me Almighty Leader.
Glorious Leader beyond.
Glorious Leader beyond. The Almighty Leader requests silence. Any other questions? Okay, so.
Yes, Commissar. Okay, so. Are you want to open up a discussion kind of about
You do realize very free to right? Oh, okay. That's the ideal socialist state, of course.
Obviously, we just want everyone to.
You know, being famines and resort to capitalism.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So basically, what we wanted to open up was, since we've had like so many like definitions kind of thrown out of like we're making Soviet Union, North Korea jokes, and then we're also talking about Finland, and so we think socialism is such a broad concept. We kind of wanted to open it up to you guys, like kind of have like a little like discussion about what you guys, what the word socialism means to you. So, does anyone want to like? Your question?
Well, this is kind of unrelated, but
it's fine. We're up for it.
Do you believe Frederick Engels should be listed on Communist Manifesto?
I think he should be. Like, he helped a lot with that, and I think that taking the credit away from him kind of a dick move. So.
Not to mention, not very egalitarian.
Credit.
Again, what we discussed this earlier, socialism is very fractured. You have every which brand of socialism you could possibly imagine. So, what do you guys think is the best socialist subdivision, and what do you think of the socialist movement's progress as a fractured institution?
Well, I can start. I, for one, am a moderate socialist, which means that I believe in keeping components of capitalism in play. I don't think it's pragmatic, personally, to abolish, capital and personal property, but at the same time, I feel like the government does have a duty to its citizens, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, you can't really, have any of that if you don't have the basics provided to you. You can't participate in government if you don't have education. You can't, work or have the right to, go bowling if you have no rights to drive, no roads to drive on, and so forth. So I think,
You can get a big rock and go bowling.
Yeah, well, assuming I'm not able to do that. So yeah, that's sort of what I lean towards is, keeping a capitalist institution, but adding a lot of public institutions available to individuals. I don't know what you guys think about it.
What is socialism classified as when it comes to fiscally and socially? Is it
fiscally liberal? Socially, socialism is mostly a fiscal ideal.
Yeah, fiscal ideal, but generally that's normally followed by progressive social views. Like, I don't know, if you look at a lot of these revolutionary, you don't see a whole lot of reactionary social views. One of the things these kind of leftist activist groups who wanted more collective economics would also be on the forefront of things for fighting for rights for women and for LGBT and stuff like that. So I think it generally coincides a little bit with socialism itself. I guess the socialist ideal promotes equality in general, so it's kind of they go hand in hand. I would say.
The whole idea of socialism being an economic idea almost completely is that economy leads and social principles follow. For example, in the beginning of capitalism as we know it in the modern world, once it really got kicked off with imperialism, factories, etc., women started falling into this subjugated role, while the families became more and more patriarchal, and that is why we believe capitalism makes these unequal social norms present. And through socialism, through equality, we can change that without having to directly go in and bend people's social culture rather than ease it naturally into an egalitarian society.
Yeah, as was the kind of economic nature of a society, the social norms and stuff will follow to be more egalitarian like they
So, it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me like all you guys, all three of you seem to have different views on socialism, but it seems like if you were to just put an objective view over what it is, it seems to me like what Democrats pretend to be.
Exactly.
I would say that's true.
Exactly.
They pretend to kind of be the bastions of the working class and the poor and the kind of underprivileged, whereas they're kind of basically just getting paid off by a lot of corporations, like Monsanto and all those kinds of things where like they really, when it comes down to it, like when it comes time for them to take action, they haven't taken the steps necessary to kind of prove to the nation that they are actually walking the walk.
What she's trying to say is
Yeah.
we're Democrats who actually care.
Yeah, I was gonna say seriously, just Democrat from back.
Yep.
Well, Democrats support capitalism, unlike socialists.
Right.
Socialism is a completely different economic system.
It's kind of like saying, just because I'm liberal, there's nothing conservative in my life. Like you can't really say that. I mean, there are two ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, like I could be moderately socialist and still have capitalist views, which is
So he's moderately socialist and I'm extremely socialist, so there's, yeah.
As we all know, Democrats have jelly in their spines. How are socialists when it comes to standing up for their ideals?
Have you heard of every revolution ever since the 20th century? Yeah.
Have you, okay, one of the things is that socialists have been through a lot of crap. Like the police brutality, because the governments tend to hate people who kind of say something against what they're doing currently and kind of want to subvert that. And so especially, I think you saw especially in the 60s, a lot of these people like Abby Hoffman and those kind of people who just really wanted a new kind of system put up with a lot of crap from the government and did some really badass things. So I think you could say socialism is kind of liberal ideals, but yeah, with more of a spine, because we're actually we're saying we're not interested in corporations and stuff like that. We're not interested in helping them. Whereas, yeah, so historically, socialists have been more steadfast in their kind of ideas. You?
Me? Okay, so other than staging a revolution, where do you guys think that you're going to find any campaign contributions? I mean, in the real world to actually get a real political platform. I mean, because it's great to have the ideals, but to actually have someone in a body of legislature, whether it be state or federal. I mean, obviously, I think that the Democratic Party started with these ideals, but then realized that they actually needed money. So then they just sort of got money from corporations and sort of got bought out.
It's a very good question, and it's very hard for socialists to get support, especially in America. Steinbeck had a quote that said that Americans never became socialists because they always saw themselves as the temporarily embarrassed millionaire rather than the exploited proletariat. And actually, we do have a socialist member of Congress, Bernie Sanders.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, Vermont, the state he represents, is sometimes been called the Socialist Republic of Vermont because, well, first of all, they have no McDonald's. I think, if I'm correct, they have no McDonald's in the entire state.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, they have no billboards. And they're one of the 2 states that has legalized gay marriage, and it's wonderful.
There's more now.
Well, yeah. Socialists have had a history of mobilizing grassroots stuff, unionizing. So you saw that Chicago's teacher
Alright, there's an assembly meeting going on in Salon G right now. If you have a green dot on your name tag, you are your school's assembly member and you must be there right now. Check your name tag right now. Green dot, Salon G, assembly meeting. Thanks. Pardon me.
Okay, so just to clarify, this is the house, not the Senate. Okay, you have a red dot on your name tag, blue dot on your name tag, so you're red dot, just kidding.
Red dot's here. Red dot's here, blue's upstairs.
Red here.
Blue's upstairs.
Okay, so we're going to begin. The bill is a bill to eliminate teacher tenure in California. It's sponsored by this representative right here, Anthony Lynn from Corona Del Mar High School. And may I get a timekeeper, please? Okay, thanks, Sarah. Are you ready? Okay.
Let go, Andrew.
Thanks. It's nice to meet you. So, if I can just ask for a favor right now, everyone, if you could please close your eyes. I want you to imagine a system. And in this system, after 2 years of passing school, students are set for college and their futures. If it's hard for you to relate, maybe you're not a senior. But real talk, ask yourself, in the eyes of your teachers, how would they feel? Oh, yeah, you can open up your eyes again. These teachers work for the sole purpose of education, but with an already guaranteed future, the students probably wouldn't give a crap. This is a loose reflection of what tenure is. It's entitled job security, given a certain amount of time. I'm sure all of you have had teachers you've begged to just retire. I know I've had plenty. The fact is, tenure makes it practically impossible for teachers who aren't doing their job to be removed. According to the new teacher project, they said that 81% of teachers who were underperforming weren't pursued by administration. Why? Because on average, it costs about $250,000. The only benefit I can see is for teachers who have committed their lives to teaching and have no other degree. But the system is broken. Tenure hinders education, and it's unfair to teacher pay. The system means well, but it's crippling. It has good intentions, protecting nepotism and athletic priority, but just look at the Pimentel case. That's a teacher who resigned after sexual abuse before he could get fired to receive his pension. In another case in LA, after the teacher was convicted for child molestation, the city continued to pay his pensions for 20 years due to tenure. Most likely you don't know about how teacher retirement works, so let me explain it to you. Unlike you or me, teachers don't pay into Social Security. They have their own retirement plan funded by the government. Once they retire, they get 75% of their highest wage. Their income is fixed based on years teaching and education experience. The only time that they can possibly get a raise is due to cost of living expenses. That hasn't happened for over 5 years. There's no point in a system of tenure in which the government can legally withhold. Lastly, if you are still doubting yourselves about the removal of tenure, ask yourself this. Why is it that teachers are the only ones with this tenure? It's overpowered. What makes them different from you or me? Thank you, and I yield the rest of my time to questions.
You have 3 minutes. Questions?
All right, thank you.
and opponency. Does anyone want to speak on the concept? No.
Wait.
I'm the chair.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm in a different place right now.
Does anybody else want to speak on behalf of the opponency? Any subject?
Don't worry, I have nothing prepared for this whatsoever.
Our hero.
There's still deadly kills.
3 minutes.
Okay. First off, I want to bring up something. The opponency, or the proponency actually, mentioned a couple things. A couple extreme instances where a teacher was failed to be fired after sexual harassment or that they kept receiving their pensions. Let me tell you the problem about mentioning these sort of cases. They're anomalies. They're one individual case out of thousands, out of hundreds of thousands. This is one person who received their pension out of hundreds more who didn't. How is this in any way a valuable representation of what actually happens in the tenure system? Here's what tenure really is. It is job security, and it is an entitlement because for a certain number of years, I believe it was 7, you have to be an upstanding teacher. You have to be a teacher worthy of the job for 7 whole years. And then afterwards, you're prevented from arbitrary job dismissal. What does that mean? Basically, that means if I do my job well for 7 years, and I work hard for 7 years, then suddenly my job is safe. That means that just because my boss doesn't like me, just because the principal sexually molested me and I ran away, it does not mean that I'm going to get fired, you know? It means that I have security against arbitrary firing. It means that there has to be criteria set. And tenure, contrary to common belief, is not an immunity to being fired. Tenure is job security, yes, but that's all it is. It is security. It is not some invulnerable wall that I get to hide behind and say every time, you know, oh, I molested 3 kids and I murdered a 4th, but I have tenure. Please, don't fire me. You can't do anything. I have tenure. That is not what happens. It doesn't happen if, you know, after 3 years of subsequently every kid fails every state exam, and we all know how much of a joke those state exams are, you know, and I teach chemistry for 3 years and every kid fails a district exam. I'm not going to keep my job. Teacher tenure only works to a certain extent, but the ultimate fact of the matter is that if I am an utterly inadequate and dismal teacher, I will lose my job. And that's what, so no, we don't need to get rid of teacher tenure. Does it need maybe some reform? Yes, but here's the thing. If we are entrusting individuals to our future generations, the children that are going to command the future of our country, should they not have their job secured? Thank you. I yield my time to questions.
How much time do you have? 50 seconds? If you guys 50 seconds, we have time for 2 questions. You.
I mean, okay, can you give me one good reason why we should keep teacher tenure?
Because when individuals are entrusted with the future of our future generations and the future of, you know, the mindset, the social culture of our future generations, and these are the people who have done their jobs outstandingly for 7 years, then honestly, yes, do they deserve some level of job security? I believe they do.
Do you agree with me that the education of our students is important?
Yes.
Yeah.
But teacher tenure is not, removing teacher tenure has no promises that it will improve the quality of our education. Thank you.
All right. All right, hello everybody. I'm Chad Soraya, and I'm from San Diego. We're going to get a little comfortable here real fast. Do you mind holding this real please? Thank you. All right, so let's talk about fairness here for a minute. Young says that it's fair that teachers who work and put their effort into their job over a long course of time should deserve to be continuously rewarded for their effort. Now, let me take an example here for instance. Let's say Young here is a hard-working teacher. He's been there for 20 years, and he's done a great job for those 20 years. But he's kind of slacking now. He doesn't really want to teach. He doesn't want to really do anything. He just has the kids show up, take roll, and watch videos. Now, talk about education. Now, say I come, and I'm a new teacher, and I'm enthralled with the fact that I get to teach our posterity. And
I go out of my way to show them field trips with real-world examples and have them do tests that are relevant, ask them to question their own mind. But then, is it fair that I put that much effort forth, and our friend here, the older teacher beyond, put that much effort forth, and yet we are rewarded with the same thing? I don't think that's fair, because in America, we base our assumptions on merit. That if you work hard, and you continue to work hard, that you will be rewarded. And only if you continue to work hard will you be rewarded. Now, with tenure, yes, it keeps job security for the teachers, which are older and maybe can't get another job. But it shouldn't reward a teacher for slacking upon their own job. Young also said that it's frivolous to say that we can't have tenure just because, not everyone's a child molester. And it's not. If every teacher was a child molester, we wouldn't go to school, most likely, and wouldn't be here today. But even though not everyone's a child molester, every teacher is a child molester, we all know at least a few teachers that put in very little effort. The amount of effort that we put in on Mondays when we're really tired after a long day of AP US History study session, or if you haven't taken AP US History, don't think. But what other professions, though? What other professions have tenure besides teaching? Does anyone know any other professions besides teaching? What is so specifically great? Something so extraordinary that only our teachers have tenure. Now I'll tell you what's great and what's extraordinary, what's so specific about tenure for teachers, is that a long time ago, a group of teachers, not saying not all teachers, I love teachers in general, but a group of teachers said, you know what? I'm kind of tired today. I don't want to put that much effort in. You know what? Let's advise, let's have a system where if we work hard enough, then we will never get fired, no matter what our merit is. And that's all I got to say about that. Yeah.
No? We can just move to closing then.
Motion to caucus?
Yeah.
Second.
Third. Aye. All in favor.
Come on, you can't say that.
All in favor. All in favor.
You have to call vote.
We're doing what?
Motion to the caucus.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All those who oppose?
All right. Caucus.
For 2 minutes.
Does anyone else know about this?
What if I just feel like what I'm supposed to do? I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. Like, kind of like represent. I like ask them that. Should I find a sponsor like that?
Caucus is over, so I'm going to request another opponency speech. You got 2 minutes. No? You want to do it? Okay. Come on up.
previous speaker offered one of the classic conservative arguments that the reason that we have any sort of social support system, such as tenure, is because that the workers are simply too lazy to be motivated enough to perform well, and that this system allows us to sort of sit back on this safety net, which is not the case, and it's one of the classic fallacies of conservative ideology in this issue. In reality, like one of my previous speakers said, tenure is really just a security for teachers, so that they can't be fired based on superficial things. Rather, they can still be fired for things such as the obvious sexual abuse cases. But if they are doing a good job and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, they can't be fired. We're just all right. There's one parallel thing to the teacher tenure issue at my school going on that I think is very applicable. The first speaker said that a teacher who committed an act of sexual abuse continued to teach at an LA school because of tenure. And I believe that the source comes from another reason. And that reason is reputation. And it's a big problem at many schools, especially in the Southern California region, where schools will not report a crime in favor of their reputation, because if they do, people won't want to come to that school. For example, at my school, on Facebook, someone committed a minor disturbance, I would say, where someone asked a question about the science homework, and the person said, "If I had a gun right now, I'd shoot you." And they got expelled for several days. However, when a student tried to sexually assault someone I know in the stairway, they got scot-free, because if they had reported them, if they had gone to the police, then the school's pristine reputation would have been trashed. So people are confusing two different things: tenure and a almost capitalistic love for their reputation over doing what's right. I yield my time to share.
Motion to previous question.
Second.
Previous question.
All in favor?
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay. Nays have it.
Maybe not. What?
Nays have it. That's the nay.
We have like half an hour left. But we have two bills.
Motion to party. Two. Is that two? There you go.
Ready, Harrison?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, Sam.
I do. Thank you.
Sam, go.
Nowadays, he's like, okay, refreshing.
Yeah.
Call him. I'm sorry. Just come here, wait on.
Hello, my name is Sam Jones from Survey High School. And first, I want to ask you, you're probably thinking, he goes to a private school. What could he possibly know about this? I know quite a bit. I went to public school before, and my mom is a union rep for a union, and I know everything about this. First of all, they talked about the lazy. They talked about the credibility of the laziness. Teachers do get lazy after they earn their tenure. Once they earn it, they're going to slack off in class, and they're not going to be able to educate the students. And that is what I care about more than anything. The students of our generation and future generations. We need to be able to ensure that our students get the best education possible, and that is why we need to eliminate tenure. If the teachers are going to slack off in class, how are we going to get the best education for our students? And second of all, if we eliminate tenure, that's how we ensure that we have the best teachers, so that year after year, they earn their position at that school so that they don't get fired, and that they provide the best education to our students. And now I'm going to move on to about all the frequent mentioning of child molestation, more than I would rather hear one day. They talked about the child molestation, and how the first opposition speaker talked about the rare circumstances. Sure, they are rare. They're still circumstances. These are human beings. These are children of our United States of America, and I care about them just like anyone else. As human beings, we need to care for one another, no matter how rare the circumstances they are. And then the last opposition speaker, he talked about that one teacher's reputation and how his and so that he talked about his reputation. His current reputation now is as a child molester. No matter how good of a teacher he was, that is null and void today. And the fact that the tenure that he earned through his years saved him from being fired, I find it despicable and disgusting, no matter how much you can argue with his reputation as an educator. I yield my time to share.
Due to time constraints, we're going to have to move on to the next bill. If we don't do it now, then there won't be any time for those speakers.
Whoa. Please, this is really motion for respect.
Second.
No.
We have
no time.
Second.
We have no time. Please. No,
It's moderated.
We have no time. We have no time.
It's moderated decision. They have no time.
No.
Motion to throw the rules.
You can't.
Andrea Webb did not make that seat. Take a turn.
Can you please, I'm sorry, please. Okay, we're just gonna let them close and then we're gonna make it.
Okay, so I just prepped like a poem. Hey, listen up, I got something to say. It's about teacher tenure, which has failed us today. Ain't no way in which we can fix this system of shit, but this bill, take a look, it's actually legit. Tenure is unfair to both teachers and students, so be prudent, and don't believe this guy's lies. It breeds teachers irresponsible and unwise, leading to inequality and educational demise. It's a surprise tenure has lasted thus far. I call for teachers to be up to par. I expect them to be educational, positive, and sincere, not to be scoping on that biddy's derriere. My grades, my college are all important to me. Removal of tenure, I ask you to see. This be a system, crippled, protecting the criminals, even paying the pension of the overly physical. So please with me, let us all be free. Think of all your younger brothers and sisters. Protect them from the over-sexual misters. So vote for this bill and improve your schools, not to put our future in the hands of some fool. It's our turn to step up and make all the rules. Thank you.
Okay, so the bill is to increase the efficiency and affordability of California Public Colleges, the Fair and Affordable College Act. Sponsored by this representative right here, Jenny Conde from Corona Del Mar High School.
Yeah,
Jenny.
Oh, awkward. Daria?
Yeah, Daria.
Money.
Yeah. Woo. Okay, 6 minutes.
The Iron Triangle is a new term coined to describe the three big problems facing America's colleges and universities today: access, quality, and cost. American higher education has always fueled our country's prosperity, innovation, and social mobility. We cannot afford to allow higher education to deteriorate because of the Iron Triangle. My bill, the Fair and Affordable College Act of 2013, seeks to improve access to and the quality and cost of higher education in America. First of all comes access. Currently, the efficiency and availability of college courses is dwindling. Fewer than 6 in 10 undergraduates finish a 4-year degree in less than 6 years. And a new study shows that nearly half of all community college students in California couldn't enroll in one or more classes they needed to graduate. This development may slow graduation rates and worsen overcrowding in the long run. If introductory classes were offered as massive open online courses, MOOCs, which can teach thousands of students at one time, efficiency would be dramatically improved. Paired with proctored exams, MOOCs can certify that a student completes the class, not to mention that they can be structured according to how the brain learns best, using periodic testing to keep students focused while watching lectures. My bill requires that public colleges and universities offer introductory classes online for half the cost of regular classes. Second is quality. Nowadays, employers desperately need workers
with advanced degrees in science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM degrees, but there are far too few of them. STEM jobs are key to economic growth. A report by Cheryl Grossman of Ohio State concluded that 50% of our GDP growth since World War II has been a result of these STEM fields. There is a shortage of STEM workers, and current projections show that the U.S. will not be able to graduate enough STEM majors to meet the future needs of our businesses. In fact, it will likely be short 1 million STEM graduates in the next 10 years. Silicon Valley leader Oracle has 1,500 high-paying jobs right now that it cannot fill due to shortages in STEM graduates. A study by William Kerr of Harvard Business School found that from 1995 to 2006, 67% of the growth in the STEM workforce was from immigrants. This represents wasted opportunity to decrease the unemployment rate of American workers and strengthen the foundations of our own economy. A surefire way to solve this problem is to subsidize STEM college degrees. It's time for the government to increase subsidies for STEM classes to encourage students to pursue these more futuristic jobs. And finally comes cost. In recent years, college has become far too expensive, and many students are now forced to borrow thousands of dollars to pay for it. The average in-state tuition and fees at four-year public colleges this school year rose 8.3%, more than double the rate of inflation, with room and board costs now exceeding $17,000 a year, according to the College Board. The increases in college costs exceed inflation, and since 1986, college tuition has risen by 498% compared to the 150% for general price inflation. Student loans are skyrocketing. The government has done a great deal to mitigate rising college prices by lending over $100 billion per year to students. This is a 56% increase from just 10 years ago, as most undergraduates today borrow and on average leave school with over $25,000 in debt. However, the government has done little to address the real problem by restricting the yearly growth of college prices. Student debt has just passed the $1 trillion mark and continues to be the fastest growing consumer debt in the U.S. A generation of Americans has gotten deep into debt for their education. Some will pay off their loans, but many will default or seek loan modifications. Those defaulting will face dire consequences, such as bad credit, which tarnishes their hopes of getting a car, apartment, or even a job, or garnishes of wages, tax refunds, and inheritance by the government. And unlike other consumer borrowers, student loans are not eligible for elimination under the U.S. Bankruptcy Code. This means that even if you declare bankruptcy, you are still responsible for paying back your student loans. Millions of students and their families are doomed to life as student loan debt slaves. A way to help this issue is to match college tuition increases to rise in the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI. Recently, Missouri and Pennsylvania colleges have adopted measures that link the increase in college tuition to the increase in the CPI. To prevent future generations of students from losing the opportunity to attend college, it is necessary for the government to link increases in the public college tuition to increases in the CPI. This bill is necessary to save American colleges and will help make college an affordable and efficient place again. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time to the questions.
How much time is
A minute.
a minute? One question.
Can you define CPI?
Consumer Price Index. It's the percentage change of increase in average prices due to inflation.
No more questions? Okay. Can I get a opponent information, please?
I'd love to. Oh yeah, sure. There you go. It was a mix up at the front desk. Is that live stream?
Yeah, it is.
Put that right there for now. Okay, well, let's get down to business, shall we? Please, please, everyone. I know we're excited about all this money going to us and all, but let's try to reel it in. Okay. Now, I love this proposal. I mean, I'm going to be going to college soon. The less I have to pay, the more money I get, the better. But as wonderful and great as it sounds, I have to question its pragmatism. I have to ask myself, is it realistic? Can we do this? Now, she came with a myriad of specifics about how we would go about doing this, had a 3-point plan, which I applaud her for. But it comes down to a very central point. That, do you think colleges have their prices fixed just to piss you off? Just to rustle your jimmies? To make you mad? Do you think that they do that just to make you angry? They just want you to take out loans. They just, I know you're frustrated because you're talking over there. I'm frustrated too. Yeah. But what I want to say is that they have these prices for a reason. Now, how many of you here go to private school? Just raise your hands, please. Okay. All right, great. So, at that private school, that school pays for your tuition there, the teacher's payment, the custodians, to keep the lights on, to keep the air conditioning running so you're not in like an African environment. Not racist, just true. I just want to say though that, so everyone's laughing, we're having a good time here, guys. Anyways, reel it back in. That when it comes down to it, that these colleges, they don't have this number as just cut. It's not arbitrary. They don't have a committee on raising prices just because they want to. What happens is the price of the colleges reflect the money that they get from the government, especially public colleges, and the money that they have to deal out to their teachers, professors, the custodians, and to keep the lights on and pay for the property. It's a lot of work to keep UCLA up and running. And when we say, yes, let's make college cheaper by having more subsidies or by adjusting the prices for them, then that's when we start to err on our own ways. Because as good intentioned as it is that we want to lower the price of college and give us more money, it's up to, I believe, the colleges to decide that. Because we know that they have our best interest in mind. And if they say it's $6,000 a year, then I am going to believe them. It's $6,000 a year. Because they're the ones who are in trouble, not us. Thank you. I give my rest of my questions to questions. I'm rest of my time to questions at this time.
20 seconds, one question.
Yeah, just kind of specify.
Go ahead.
You said that, I don't know if I just heard you wrong, but you said that the school pays for the custodians in a private school and like pays for the custodians and the teachers. You just mix in the tuition, did you just mix talk there? And you say, yeah, okay, and I'm done. Yeah, did you say it wrong? Because the school doesn't pay for it, we pay for it.
Right, yeah. But you pay to the school and then they pay the custodians because they've taken the money and then distribute it to whoever they like it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Can I get Dave for a speech, please?
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules and move to an opponent's speech. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, can I get a pro speech, please?
Quite a good fight, Ed. Yep.
Ready, Harrison?
All right, hello, my name is Anthony Macker. I go to Santiago High School, and I'm here to say why we should not pass this bill. Although while I agree that, yeah, cheaper college would be great for most people, and I want to say everyone would agree, like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to dole out 50 grand a semester just to go to a private university. But with what I've read from the bill, what is in the text of the bill, it talks about lowering costs, but has no way of paying for it. There is talks of reducing costs of general education classes and having them be online classes. There's no talk to pay for that. There's talk of subsidizing, STEM courses and making them cost cheaper so people will take them more. There's no way to pay for that in the bill. And it talks about limiting the increase of tuition to the cost of living, which I find probably the most agreeable part. If you're living a more expensive lifestyle just going to college than it is for the average American, then there's probably some disparity differences that you need to alleviate a little bit. But as far as paying for reduced costs, you can't just make that money come out of nowhere, although the Congress would probably like to do that. But living in a $16.5 trillion debt, we just can't afford to do that. Sure, it's for the sake of education, sake of public policy, and for our future generations, but we can't dig ourselves in a deeper debt and then thrust it upon them just because they may have paid more for college or paid less for college. I think what we need to do is approach this in a much more efficient manner and understand that how economics works. You can't just cut costs and expect there to be no repercussions whatsoever. If you're cutting costs somewhere, that means you're increasing costs somewhere else. And I would like to know where that's coming from in this bill. And I yield my time to questions.
A minute and 20 seconds.
Questions? In the back.
is the speaker aware of how little a camera and a server costs?
It depends where you get it, but yeah, I'm aware, yeah.
Good question.
Did you know that the cow goes moo?
What? Like,
No.
So, really good. 1 minute.
Sorry, no, we're good.
Thank you.
We'll now hear a 3-minute closing argument from the proponency speaker.
Okay. I'd like to say that the cost that these colleges have to pay their janitors and all their employees does rise as the general prices and everything else increases, but it doesn't rise exponentially like these tuition costs are rising. So this bill does allow for college tuitions to rise as general prices rise, but doesn't allow it to rise faster than those. So this increase in money coming from tuition will still be able to cover those normal expenses. And as the subsequent opponency speaker sort of mentioned, where this extra money will be coming from, as I think the person asking the question was trying to say, online classes are naturally cheaper because you don't have to pay for rent and electricity and all those other things that you have to pay that for normal in-class sessions. So online classes are inherently cheaper. So ideally, there was some time. Sure.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to vote on the two bills now. The first bill is a bill to eliminate teacher tenure in California. If you are for it, please stand up.
I just need maybe relentless to talk about it because I just want to understand more of it.
If you oppose the bill, please stand up. Lily Harrison? Why are you standing up? All right. Abstention? Anybody that's abstained? The bill passes on a 49 to 4 to 3. And then the other one, a bill to increase efficiency and affordability of California public colleges, the Fair and Affordable College Act. If you are for it, please stand up. If you oppose, please stand up. If you abstain, please stand up. This bill passes on a 30 to 17 to 7. The bill for the college. We're going to vote for best speaker now. I know during opening session, Juliana encouraged you to use the JSA app, but my clerk over here is going to pass up the speaker ballot. What are they encouraging? We were just joking about the app. The app doesn't work. I don't know what to fix it.
Let's fix it right now.
Hold on. If you spoke during the limited teacher tenure California bill, please come up here and state your name and high school. teacher tenure film. So,
I think they just write both of their names on it for the two speakers.
But then you won't know if you spoke twice then.
Don't worry, Chad.
don't worry, Chad, we'll get you.
I'm just trying to be fair here.
Okay, say your name high school. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Joe Choi from Santiago High School.
Alright, I'm Chad Sarayo from Santiago High School.
I'm Sam Jones from Savannah.
Woo! I'm Andrew Nguyen, you spell out N-G-Y-E-N from Corona Del Mar.
I'm Armand Maharaj from OSHA.
Wow.
ARMAAN.
If you spoke during the college act, please stand up and say your name. My name is Daria Fadavi from CDM.
I'm Anthony McElroy from Santiago High School.
And I'm Jeff Sarayo from Santiago High School.
I think you know your reality one.
So all my speakers on one ballot. All my speakers on one ballot.
Both best speakers on one ballot.
Both best speakers on one ballot, please.
One A. Hey, Dr. Zisha? Yeah, he called me.
Oh my god. That's cold, that crap. Posting it out of nowhere. That's true news stuff.
Up there. Lunch right out there.
Oh, it is? About time.
Chips, right? You got chips, right? I ordered chips.
Okay, well, can we get an extra one now? It's little trade reaction. It's they give all of us that.
Right, you can have mine.
All right. Well, thank you very much, moderator.
You can have my card.
Thank you so much.
Moderator, but you're welcome. Yes.
Let's see where
Oh, the pleasure dealing with me. I know.
appreciated here. We're back in Salon A after lunch, right? I could always take the moderator sheets over.
So it's Andrew. Mainly, okay, so Andrew, best speaker for the teacher tenure.
What school does he go to?
And then Chad for the California Public Efficiency College. Just put it in here and we'll go from there.
Do I